Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's a good day to make another video. I hope you guys enjoyed your 4th of July the way I did. So it was definitely a good time. Had a lot of hamburgers, hot dogs. There were some fireworks very early on. I mean, it wasn't even dark out and I was already hearing some loud ass fireworks. And it sounded like it was coming from houses just not too far down the street. So yeah, it was pretty wild. I didn't really hear or see any when I went to bed. As a matter of fact, I was playing Star Fox around 8 to 11, and I don't recall hearing any. So maybe that's just because I was really in tune with the game, and I don't know, didn't hear any fireworks going off. So, but regardless, nevertheless, got another video for you guys, and this is something that was that happened about 3 days ago. This was some news that was broken to us about Nintendo raising the salary for all of their employees by 10%. Boy, don't you just love the fact that Nintendo, we're getting all this good, positive news from Nintendo. And meanwhile, with Xbox and PlayStation over here, they're over here just fucking laying off thousands of workers, doing all manner of stupid shit. PlayStation announcing that they're getting rid of all physical media. It's funny just how we're getting so much good news with Nintendo. And this is the third time, by the way, that Nintendo has bumped up the salary for their workers, because they did this 3 years ago, back in 2023. Back in 2023, they raised the salary by 10%, and they're doing it again. So that's like 20% right there total for their workers. And isn't it so funny how you're still gonna have dumbasses on the internet talking about how the video game apocalypse is here. The video game crash is coming. It's going to crash. We're going to see the big video game crash. It's all going to shit. It's like, dude, why do you keep pretending Nintendo doesn't exist? Like, that's the only way you would believe something that fucking stupid. To think that we're just going to get a big video game crash. It's all going to crash, and there's not going to be any new video games coming out, consoles, whatever, when Nintendo's over here just killing it with their Nintendo Switch 2. They're still putting out great games every single month, and on top of that, they're raising the salary for their employees, and you guys still act like, we're going to see a big video game crash. Yeah, we will, but be specific. Be specific. It's not going to be everybody. Okay, Nintendo's going to be doing just fine. Maybe some other good Eastern Japanese developers are going to be doing good. It's the Western developers, Western studios. It's PlayStation and Xbox, likely. Those are going to be the ones crashing and burning, not Nintendo, okay? And Nintendo, it's funny, people have been saying all this bullshit. It's like Nintendo has been doing great for the last 10 years. They got the highest profit margins, best-selling consoles. Everyone is buying a Nintendo Switch and a Nintendo Switch 2. You cannot say the same thing for PlayStation and Xbox, all right? So I say that just to say this. You guys need to shut up and stop acting like video gaming is going to crash when Nintendo is here. They're killing it. As long as Nintendo's around and they're making video games, there ain't going to be no video game crash. We're just going to see others crash and burn, like PlayStation and Xbox, but not Nintendo, okay? And this right here should be further evidence of that. Nintendo is raising the employee base pay by 10%. So let me see. Kotaku says that the 10% salary increase took place over 2 years ago, and that Mr. Furukawa was referencing that. Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa has stated to shareholders that the Kyoto-based company has now raised its base salary for employees by 10% in a move to retain talent. Here's what Mr. Furukawa told investors today via machine translation. We maintain salaries at an appropriate level. We believe it is important to ensure that compensation remains at an appropriate standard. For example, we have increased pay, including raising base salaries by 10%. So yeah, they're over here just raising the salary by 10%. Let's see what the commenters have to say. So we got this guy, Lavigi, saying employee raises and building new buildings. Take notes, Xbox and PlayStation. Yeah, because Xbox and PlayStation are doing the complete opposite. They're just basically firing mass amounts of employees and shutting down buildings, studios, canceling video games. That's what they're doing. Here's a clown saying they did, but they raised console prices instead. Yeah, by $50, dipshit. Like who gives a fuck why they raised the console by $50, but they're still paying their employees. It's always funny when you got these dumbasses that are like, this guy's a perfect example of these stupid ass gamers. Like you expect Nintendo to not only give raises to their employees, but to also make their video games and their consoles cheaper. They're not going to be able to pay their employees by making their shit cheaper, dumbass. They have to fucking do it. They have to make their stuff, higher price. And here's the thing. They could do that because their games are great. Their games are made with love, and they're always high quality games. So you can't sit there and be like, oh, you're stupid if you think Kirby Air Riders should not be $70. You just are. When you play a game like that, you see the amount of content and you see the details that went into the physics of that game. You shouldn't just be like, oh, this should be like $50 or something like that. No, that's a $70 fucking game right there. Donkey Kong Bonanza, $70 game. Mario Kart World is an $80 game. I don't give a shit what you guys say, all right? Their games deserve to be priced at where they are priced because there's a lot of love put into those games and they make the best quality games. And you can't sit there and act like you care about the employees, but then you want the games to be cheap and affordable. It's like the games, when they sell, that money goes into, those employees or whatever. That money is going to be going into Nintendo's pocket. So Nintendo could take care of the employees. They have zero debt right now. They're the only, between them, Microsoft and PlayStation, Nintendo has zero debt. They have zero debt. They don't owe anybody any money the way PlayStation does. PlayStation has like $27 billion in debt. And they have very small profit margins. So, of course, they're shutting down studios. Of course, they're laying off thousands of workers. Of course, they're canceling games. Because they have so much debt. They're not making enough money. Nintendo, on the other hand, they have enough money to take care of their employees. Why? Because they don't just make all of their shit cheap the way the other guys do. So that's something gamers are just too stupid to take into consideration. Balloon Boy. Nintendo is only raising prices slowly because Switch 2 is already a bit overpriced to begin with. Fooling yourself if you actually think Nintendo would take a loss on hardware or software for that matter. So this guy's a stupid ass. He's trying to say that the Switch 2 is a bit overpriced. No, it's fucking not. It's not a bit overpriced, and you're a fucking idiot if you think Nintendo should take a loss on their hardware or software. You're fucking stupid if you think they should do that. So I don't know what the hell he's really on about right there. But this guy, Luigi comes back and he replies to this idiot. He says it's not a bit overpriced. Specs really close to Series S with a screen, a dock grip, and 2 controllers. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. You get a lot with the Switch 2. I mean, not only do you get the dock and you get that you get the controllers, you get the Joy-Cons, but then you get the grip or whatever that you could attach it to. So you could play it like a normal controller or whatever. So you get all that good stuff. I don't know what this guy right here is on about. Yeah, I don't know. In today's world, that is actually incredible. So this guy is basically talking about the 10% increase for salary. He's like, that's pretty incredible in today's world. Huge W from Nintendo. I absolutely agree. Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's it for the comments. But yeah, that's basically something I just wanted to talk about. Here's another funny thing I forgot to hit on. So when PlayStation announced that they were getting rid of all physical media, what is the one thing a lot of these pathetic PlayStation fangirls started doing or started saying? Like, they complained about it, but then they started talking all this bullshit about how, Nintendo's going to do the same thing. They're going to follow suit. They have to talk out their ass and, act like they know exactly what's going to happen and say, oh, yeah, Nintendo's going to follow suit. If you think Nintendo's not going to do the same thing, it's like, oh, really? Because when has Nintendo ever done what PlayStation and Xbox have done? Last I checked, Nintendo, they got to where they are today because they don't do what PlayStation and Xbox do. They didn't offer power, they didn't, engage in this stupid graphical rat race for power or anything like that. They didn't do any of that. And that's why we're seeing Xbox and PlayStation struggling the way they are. Nintendo didn't do that. So, or what about when it comes to online play? Nintendo has always done things differently. with online play. They've always been super strict with online. They don't want perverts talking to younger kids or stuff like that, or they don't want guys using foul language around kids. You know, they still, to a degree, are very strict when it comes to their online play or whatever. But it's gotten a lot better recently. But that's all just to say that Nintendo has always done things differently. Yet, when it comes to negative news that is affecting PlayStation and Xbox, you got these stupid asses trying to act like, well, Nintendo's going to do the same thing. Well, Nintendo didn't do the same thing concerning graphics, power, online play. What the hell makes you so certain that they're going to do the same thing regarding physical media? You know? What makes you think Nintendo's going to start laying off employees, shutting down studios and all that? They're doing the complete opposite right now. They're giving everybody a 10% raise in their salary. So I don't want to hear all this bullshit from you guys. Yeah, Nintendo's going to do the same thing. Well, no, because they never do the same thing as the other two guys. Never. And if you want to talk about, you know, what's going to happen in regards to the gaming industry and whether gaming's going to crash, no, it's only going to crash maybe for Western gaming, for PlayStation and Xbox, but Nintendo is not going anywhere. And it's going to be a repeat of history, where Nintendo is the one, they are the main ones on, they're just carrying the entire gaming industry, and they're the ones delivering all the good stuff, like it was back with the NES and SNES era. So yeah, just wanted to make that point with regarding both of those things, everyone. You know, it seems like when it comes to Nintendo, dumbasses act like Nintendo, you know, they don't count, you know, they're not to be talked about. This also just shows that Nintendo is the market leader, by the way. They are the market leader. They're the ones who are growing, getting bigger. They're not laying off employees. They're not shutting down studios. They're not getting rid of physical media. They're still giving us great games every single month. They're taking away third party from PlayStation for the most part. So yeah, Nintendo is the true market leader, and they have been for the last 10 years because the Switch dominated the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. So yeah, they are the market leader, now more so than ever though. And it's becoming more undeniable, it's becoming more undisputed. So as usual, people do what they normally do. They just pretend like Nintendo is not, you know, they're not a part of the discussion at all, whatever. It's just Xbox and PlayStation that exists. We even have Valve. There's a lot of negative news regarding Valve lately because of their, you know, $1,000 Steam machine. So there you go. You know, Nintendo, they're still within reach of the average consumer, making the best games, not laying off employees. They're doing the opposite. So yeah, it's a great time to be a Nintendo fan. I can't wait to see what games are to come to be announced in the near future. The future's looking great for Nintendo. It's looking very great, and it's looking very bad for the other two. So with that being said, you guys can leave your comments in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share it, all that good stuff, and I will talk to each and every single one of you guys later.